guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a what's in my travel makeup bag. Now if you watched one of my last videos I mentioned that I am going to New Zealand, and by the time this video is up I would have already been there. But like I said, I'll be going to New Zealand, so there's quite a lot of packing for me to do, and that of course includes makeup. Now because I've been traveling quite frequently in the past couple of years, I've started picking up ideas on how to pack for traveling and things like that when it comes to makeup, because there's nothing worse than either packing too much, packing too little, or having a disaster like something breaking in your luggage. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you some of my tips and tricks on how I pack and exactly what I pack to make sure that those kind of disasters don't happen. So first up I'm going to show you my travel case. So this is the one that I use, and it's roughly the size of an A4 piece of paper. Now you definitely don't want to go any bigger than this because it's going to tempt you to pack extra stuff that you really don't need. So like I said, it's just a bit smaller than an A4 size, and it's actually a bag that I got with a hair care set, so it's nothing really special. I didn't buy this especially for traveling. So if you have any little gift baggies like this for Christmas that you have left around, definitely give them a go because they are awesome for packing. But as you can see, it is totally empty, and I'm actually going to be filling it as I go through the video rather than unpacking everything, because I actually do need to pack. So here we go. So the first things that I put in for when I'm packing my makeup is absolutely all the essentials. So I'm not talking about makeup essentials, I'm talking weird everyday essentials. So the first thing to go into the bag is some cleansing wipes, because you always need these. Not even just for removing makeup, but let's just say you get liquid eyeliner on the hotel carpet and you need to get it off. I'm not going to say how I know that, but yeah, these are just good for everything, so it's good to have these packed right away. The next essentials are a nail file, which you want to go with something like an emery board rather than a metal sharp one, just in case you get pulled up in customs. So a nail file, because you never know when your nail's going to break, and some tweezers, because these puppies can be used for everything, not just your eyebrows and whatnot, but yeah, these are just handy for everything, so get them in right now. And finally, some cotton tips, or Q-tips as Americans call them. But these, again, can be used for everything. They can be used to touch up your makeup, clean out your ears. They can do everything. So get these puppies in your bag right away, because you'd rather be happy to have all this stuff than be without it. So now that that's out of the way, we can get into the makeup. So when it comes to packing my makeup, I like to put everything in the order that I put it on my face. So for example, start with foundation, then eyes, blush, lipstick, everything in order, so I make sure I get everything, if that makes sense. So the first thing, like I said, is foundations. Now what I'm going to be packing is a BB cream, and I think these are awesome for travel, because you'll find that when you fly on a plane your skin actually dries out quite a lot because of the kind of recycled air and whatnot, and I think these are awesome for kind of rehydrating your skin but also giving yourself a little bit of coverage. And plus they're just so easy to apply, so you don't have to worry about having good lighting in a hotel or anything like that. And then on days where I want a little bit more coverage, I'm going to also pack my mineral foundation, and this is just a loose powder which, like I said, adds a little bit more coverage, so when I want to have more of a full coverage finish I've got these two products to use. And while I'm mentioning this, you definitely want to lean towards a loose powder rather than a pressed powder like this, because they aren't exactly the most gentle with your baggage at the airport. They're going to throw it, they're going to drop it, so chances are this is the first thing that's going to shatter and break. So you definitely want to go with a loose powder just to avoid that kind of disaster. And while I'm talking about breakage and things like that, you definitely want to avoid things with glass bottles like this foundation here. But if it's something that you definitely can't live without and it's your favorite, you can actually just pop them into a little sandwich baggie like this. So once you pop them in there, seal them up, they're all good to go. And if it does break on the plane or anything like that, it's not going to ruin all of your makeup. So that's a nice little tip to kind of keep your breakable, not so much safe, but safe from the other things, so it doesn't spill all over and ruin all of your makeup. So that's a nice little tip. And the next thing I'm putting in is my trusty old bronzer, and like I just said, you want to avoid anything that has a pressed powder, but honestly all of my cream products I'm not really liking at the moment, so I'm just going to risk it with this. But I recommend going with a bronzer rather than multiple blushes and things like that, just because a bronzer works with every skin tone and every look that you're doing, so it's a really easy product to pack. That way it saves you having a heap of face products. So that one goes straight in. The next product is concealer. Now concealer is pretty easy just because normally it comes in these dainty little packaging, so you don't really have to worry about saving space with these. But like I said, if it's a glass product, just pack it in a little sandwich baggie and you'll be good to go. Now as for eyes, I'm sure you guys can guess exactly what I'm packing. I'm just going to have my two eyeliners, my liquid and my kohl liner, and my mascara, and that's pretty much my everyday routine there and done, and it takes up such little space, so that one's easy to pack in. But as for the days where I want to add a little bit more to my look and wear some eyeshadow, I'm going to be packing this trio here. Now this trio is by Wet n Wild, and as you can see it has a bunch of neutral colours in there. Now something like this is really, again, easy to pair with every look and every skin tone, so you definitely want to go with something a lot more easier to wear rather than packing neon colours and things like that. And you definitely want to consider packing something little like this compared to a naked palette, because look at the size difference. I mean, you get the same effect with this as you do with this, but it takes up such little space. And also, I don't want the airport breaking my naked palette. So go with something that's little and cheap and effective. And finally, for lipsticks, you want to limit yourself to 2 or 3 lipsticks. Chances are you're just going to be wearing your everyday colors that you do normally, so don't pack anything super extravagant. So I just have my trusty old nude lipstick to go with me, and I also have a bright pink color which I'm wearing on my lips now, just to kind of spice it up a bit. So I have those 2 options to wear each day, but they still kind of supply me the basics of what I need. Now, as for brushes and things like that, you want to go with brushes that you can multitask with. So for example, I'll only be taking these 3 products because I can do everything with them. So for example, I can use these 2 face brushes to do anything on my face, whether it's a bronzer for this or face powder for this. I can use both of these to get that one job done. Now, eyeshadow brushes are a little bit more tricky just because there's so many of them and you really don't know what to pack, but I'll just be taking this one Real Techniques brush here, which is called the Base Eyeshadow Brush. And if you can see closely, it's just a basic flat shader brush, but it's also a bit fluffy, so it'll be good for blending as well as packing on eyeshadow. So just one of those will do you fine. It can do the entire job for you. So now my bag is completely full, as you can see, but it still fits in within that A4 region where, you know, I'm not taking a humongous bag, but it has all of the basics that I need in there. But to finish up, I'll just go over the basic tips again that I have. So again, don't go with anything that's breakable or that will shatter, but if you're willing to risk that, don't be afraid to put them in a little sandwich baggie to stop them from going all throughout your bag. You also definitely want to avoid any expensive items or any items that are limited edition, because you can bet your money that they're going to be a pain to replace. So save these for at home, because you definitely don't want to lose those. And again, like I said, don't pack any more that you need. I know it's tempting, but you really don't need 5 lipsticks for an 8-day holiday. But other than that, I'm going to wrap it up and pack for the rest of my bag, which is not going to be fun, but gotta do it anyways. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you when I'm back from my holiday in my next video. Bye guys!